This is a really weird arc, but at the same time, I like what the mangaka is doing in the fact that they're in a memory world, but while in this memory world, it's like you know, you can what you essentially do messes with their memories, but it doesn't mess with past events. It's just like in their brain said past events. Kind of it's a little bit weird, but like I think it's very basic really when you think about it, because it's again memory based. It doesn't have anything to do with what actually happened. It's not like actual like time travel or anything. It's just based off of Andy's mind. But the fact that they're using this to still, well, build action and do feats and stuff, I think it's pretty cool, because Victor's a character that's obviously like there's a lot of mystery to him. Like there's clearly a lot of stuff beyond Andy's memories tied to Victor that are really important we haven't got to yet. There's still a lot of mystery behind this figure, and we're seeing him in the flashback. Actually, I thought was really interestingly done, because we're not going to see probably Victor out again for a while, because we know that Andy would only use Victor if it's like the only option, because letting Victor out is super dangerous for everybody. That's something that he can't just do, like, oh man, I'm in trouble, I guess I better break out my you know, my big super powered up form. It's like, no, he can't do that, because Victor is an enemy, and it's such a double-edged sword trying to get, you know, use this guy. And on top of that, I did really like the whole part with Amo-un when it showed back in the normal world when Izumo is inside the book, and she whatever is viewing this and is commenting on the story, but then a member of Under shows up, and it's like, you know, flex time. It's like, okay, just so you know, don't interrupt or I'm gonna have to kill you, because Amo-un like doesn't look intimidating at all. There hasn't even been any parts where you have that like scene where it's like, I know I look very kind of just chill and weak, but you know, one of those like done in a more scary ways, kind of like how early like Bleach, you know, Unohana, like to try and build that kind of scary factor to her. But at the same time, I'm like, we've seen said individual's powers. We know this this guy is broken. Like he just draws stuff. He can draw other, like he drew Andy's arm, put it on, and then got to use Andy's powers. Like there seems to be just like, I would assume there is a degree of limitation on what Amo-un can do, but like that degree of limitation we don't know about, and like the extent of the powers this guy's got. But while in the you know, in the whole memory book thing, you have Victor show up. Like Victor's like, listen, this is the point where it's, you know, this is the boundary of where you're gonna go. Like he seemed fine with letting Izumo go into Andy's memories, but not into Victor's memories. He was not okay with it. He decided that he was going to take her out, and it was done in a really weird way, because he can kill her, but every time he kills her inside of this dream world, or not even dream world, in this memory kind of simulation weirdo thing, she ends up going to a different point in time in the memories, and each time it's just sending him more forward. And at the last point, it's like the day when Andy met Izumo, and she's running away. She's afraid of Victor, and she doesn't want to get sent back without being able to do anything for Andy in the past, because we know it's not going to affect the future, the actual past, but it will, in Andy's mind, do good, because it will affect the way that he remembers it. So any dark time, any of these times now where it was like back when he was like this memoryless cowboy, you should remember it with Izumo there, and it'd probably make it a little bit better, a lot less dark for him specifically, if he's just got, you know, one person that was able to kind of now keep alive to a degree, but keep visiting him. I did really like the just flex from Victor though, because like I said, it's done in a way that that doesn't impact the large scale. Like he's not killing a ton of innocent people for, like, in this way, but at the same time, it's still good. You still get to see this display of his level of power. And I've always liked when authors do that, when they kind of like find a cheat way to like show off these big like powerful characters. And here Victor is doing just that. Victor is he's just slamming his fingers and making these massive 10 giant pressurized streams of blood, and just slices through a massive chunk of this city. Like, you know, I compare it like it was like when Gin used Kamishi no Yari, his Bankai, in the fake Karakura Town arc, and how he just, you just saw how fast it went out, and it just sliced through all these buildings, and they're so clean cut, they just get launched in there. Like, I think that's just really cool visually. I thought this was a really badass technique just to do. My favorite part of this was the scene when Andy said deadline, or sorry, Victory's deadline, and you just see that vicious, evil grin he's got, and the blood streaming out of his hands, because he's not a good guy. He's definitely an evil dude. Like, we've seen that so far in his depiction as a threat. And Izumo is running. She doesn't obviously want to get forced out of here. She wants to help Andy any way she can. And at this point in memories, like, even though Victor is he's essentially put himself there. Whereas, like, Andy was only existing in his memories. Victor, this is so his brain, and he can just, form seemingly anywhere he wants to. And Andy shows up to help Izumo, and we get what I would assume is an upgraded attack. He's his vortex bullet, and it's a whole fist. And I'm guessing, like, the way that he's upgraded is kind of what we saw with Amo-un, where Amo-un just, held that finger more, so, like, the blood pressure increased way more, like, drastically. And here Andy's using this whole arm, and, like, you see it shoot out, and then he uses the technique after it hits Victor, and that's when it really goes off. So I'm guessing he can control it just to a higher extent like that. So, I mean, like, it was a really fast chapter, because for the most part it was Izumo running from Victor, and then you got to see Victor's badass attack. And that took, like, the total, it was 3 double spreads, so it was 6 pages in the idea. And then Andy and Izumo, like, Andy showing up was a double spread, and him doing the cool, like, 10 twists. So I'm guessing that's going to be his technique thing, is how many times he twists it, kind of building up that pressure and force. But that all, like, the attack itself with Vortex Bullet was a double spread. I'm just going back and looking. Before the double spread, it was like, what, half the chapter? And then it was just a couple big ass spreads. And I thought that was really cool. It just, like, filled this swift action scene that I think really played into a battle, like a scuffle between Andy and Izumo, or an Andy and Victor. And again, I don't think that this is going to go the ways of, like, Andy beating Victor. It's definitely displayed that Victor is way more powerful right now, by, like, a lot, multiple tiers. But I'm hoping we can get maybe something where Andy kind of just earns enough of respect from I just imagine this. Andy earns enough of respect from Victor to where he's like, okay, I'll let you go. I'll let you maybe even see this memory. To where it's more like he allows them to do something rather than him gets defeated. Like, he gets defeated, or they escape somehow. I don't know. I don't see Victor losing, but I feel that there are ways for them to get around Victor, essentially, is how the best way to put it. But other than that, though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. Like I said, it was a really fast read. The second half was just double spread actions, and they looked great. I really liked the way that Andy looked, or Victor rather, when he used the deadline. I think it was just that the way that the blood streams came out, but, like, him with that evil, like, grin, no pupils in the art, his black, long black hair, like, the way it's flowing around him. I think this looks cool. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below. Thumbs up the video, but friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.